In this video, we're going to take a look at how to set some of your standard options in CAM350 and DFMStream. And we'll also take a look at how the mouse works along with CAM350 and DFMStream. We're going to start off with just the options dialog, which you can access under the Home ribbon and Options or under the View ribbon. There are many options in the tool that can be defaulted. In older versions, we put these kind of scattered all throughout the tool. Now they're in one centralized location. So as you can see, just in general, we've got what does your cursor look like. Here's something on the mouse control that we'll take a look at more in just a bit, but there is two different mouse modes, and we'll take a look at both of those. If you bring in intelligent data now has stack up information. You may not want to see like pre-preg layers over here in your layer display, so you can suppress those. When you're looking at the graphics, do you want them filled? There's two transparency modes in CAM350 and DFMStream. The newer mode, which is more like a CAD transparency mode, and the older mode, which is in our older versions of the tool, which is an XOR type mode. So both modes are available to you, and you can swap back and forth between the two. You do get tool tips or screen tips as you move your mouse around in the tool. And then there's some other things here, including like the RSS content. If you want to suppress that, you can. You can set your colors for a board outline, colors for net names, decodes, pin numbers. What does your grid look like? Do you want to show a grid? When you add text, what does it look like? What font are you using? Get into the editors. You've got general, just where default folders are and what extensions for default file types are. The CAM editor itself, you've got some options here. Some important ones is if you bring in intelligent data a lot, you probably don't want to see the part outlines, so you can suppress those. Do you want to see centroid information or highlight pad stacks? That's that little plus in the center of your pads. You can turn all of that off. Custom apertures, kind of a legacy thing, but you do have the ability to customize these somewhat. The streams editor, when you're running a checklist-based analysis, do you have a default stream and some controls over how many errors you find and how close you zoom into them. Things like the panel editor, if you're doing panelization in CAM350, do you want to be able to snap to the features? Since we are doing a step and repeat, the data is essentially just step and repeat data, but you can turn this option on and you can actually snap to individual board features in the panel editor and the fast array module. Some import options, some DXF import options, Gerber import options, ODB import options, PADS-ASCII import options. You can also set your measurement units here, whether they be English or metric, and you can set your resolution. And then snapping. By default, we snap to objects, but if you want to snap to grid, you can. And you can turn on angle modes here, or orthogonal, so that if you're moving things around, you only move them at 45 and 90 degrees or any angle. So these are just some options that you can set. One thing I would suggest is that if you're going to change options and you want those to be your defaults from now on, do this without a design loaded. We don't want any artifacts from the existing design getting saved to our options. So we can go in here and customize all this and then save as default, but we want to do it without a design loaded. And then once I've done that, there's also another option or a place where you can customize your interface. And if you right click up here and go to this customize, you have a bunch of options for customizing the way the graphical interface looks. There is this quick access toolbar which you can add items to up here. The ribbons themselves can be modified. You can add additional ribbons or add items to ribbons. The tools ribbon up here, you can add items to that. Those might be scripts, those might be a link to a text editor or something else that you use while you're viewing the design in CAM350 or DFMstream. Some options to export these customizations so that you can share them with others in your group as well. One last item in here that we should talk about, and that's keyboard shortcuts. You can create any keyboard shortcut you want. Enter a key here, and if it's unassigned, it'll show you, and you can go ahead and assign it, and then that particular command will have its own custom hotkey for it. Alright, so one thing I mentioned was the mouse mode. So I'm using it in our standard CAM350 mode right now. I am holding down on the scroll wheel, using it as a button, and pushing the mouse forward to zoom in, and doing just the opposite. Hold that scroll button down and pulling backwards to zoom out. I can scroll just by using the scroll button. If I use the shift key, I can scroll side to side. And if I use the control key, I can zoom in and out at the cursor location. If I switch this over to CAD mode, then it becomes more like what you see in a lot of the CAD systems. Okay, so zooming in and out at the cursor location is just scrolling the wheel, and then if I hold that button down, I can pan with it and move the design around. So both are options, and you can default one or the other so that it always comes up that way. So these are your customization and your options dialog and mouse control options in CAM350 and DFMstream.